Alright, this is John Cola with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, I'm going to share with you guys actually why people say my skin's so good. I still don't think I have that good of skin, but according to feedback that I get from some people, they think my skin looks great and it's amazing, and I have a long story about this that I'll be sharing with you guys. This is not going to be a short episode. I'm going to tell you guys in advance, there's no one magic bullet to make your skin nice overnight, right? What I will tell you is that healthy lifestyle results in healthy living, which results in having a healthy immune system, which results in having a healthy gut microbiome, which results in having no aches and pains, which also results in having great skin as well. This is completely a lifestyle thing. There's not like one product or two products I magically slather on my body to make my skin so great. And if you guys knew my history, you would think a little bit differently of me, Now, here's the thing. As a child, I was actually teased because of my skin. Thanks, Richard Gray in junior high school, who would tell me that I had lizard skin on my face, right? And why would he say I had lizard skin? Well, because my skin was very dry. Many people of different ethnicities may suffer from dry skin. A matter of fact, as a child, I was diagnosed with eczema and ichthyosis. So think about it. Eczema is like a dry skin condition where your skin literally is dry and cracks, and literally my skin on my fingers would like crack and bleed. I'd have to wear band-aids because my skin was so dry. And despite all the medical doctors giving me their hydrocortisone creams that I would put on topically, it just really wouldn't work. I mean, maybe it stopped the itching, but it would never make the problem go away. It just continued on and on and on until I made some major dietary changes to literally detoxify my body and no longer have the eczema. The ichthyosis, on the other hand, a lot of people may be, may have ichthyosis, and that was a little more harder to get rid of, but I'm finally now confident that I could say I have gotten rid of my ichthyosis. And ichthyosis, you could think of like an ichthyosaur. That's like a dinosaur. Dinosaurs are scaly, right? So ichthyosis is like having scaly, dry skin because something in your body is not exactly working right. And due to diet, lifestyle, some of the things I do, but more importantly, also maybe using some topical products, I've been able to get rid of my ichthyosis 100%. And this is completely amazing for me. The only time that my skin previously had cleared up in my entire life was after I went on a cleanse or a detox. It's actually called the Rise and Shine cleanse program by Dr. Richard Anderson. After I did that cleanse using his herbs and psyllium, bentonite, and water for like a week or two, and more importantly, juicing for several months before I even went on his cleanse, I 100% cleared up my skin, but then slowly the ichthyosis came back, and the eczema has pretty much still been gone all during that time for like the last 26 years. People say that I don't have any wrinkles on my face, and I could say I have very few. I mean, I have wrinkles, but if you look at some of my older videos just from a few years ago, you could see my face is notably more wrinkled then than it is now. Now that's a little bit odd because most people, as they get more mature and go around the moon or sun a bit more, get more wrinkles. But yet I am going backwards. In my opinion, I am anti-aging, aging backwards, and my body is improving and healing as I go along. And this is, I work really hard, not necessarily to get nice skin, but I work really hard and tirelessly on all my videos where I share my information with you guys. So if you guys want to do what I do, you can do that too. To basically be on an anti-aging diet, health promoting diet to the best of my ability. I do things a lot differently than actually anybody else I've ever met on the planet in terms of my diet. I wish I could find something that's really kind of getting more hardcore into what I look into, but I haven't, because I would love to learn from them instead of trying to like blaze new trails. And yeah, are all the things that I do like gonna work? I mean, I don't know. I live in Las Vegas. I'm not a gambling man, but I will gamble on how I take care of myself and how I live my life, because I believe it will pay off. and accordingly, you know, it does pay off in terms of nice skin. I don't really like to talk a lot about myself and like flaunt that I have good skin or anything like that, but I will say what other people have told me. You know, so for example, Marcus and Kara YouTube channel, link down below, actually came over to my place here and in September 2018 made a video, and it's titled literally, "Why is John Kohler's skin so nice?" So in that video we touched on, you know, a few minor things, but we didn't really go into a lot of detail. This video is basically the summation of that video, going into a lot more detail. So this will not be a short video because, you know, to me, like, everybody in our planet, in our world, thinks that like, oh, if you have a problem, if you have a headache, go to a doctor, they'll give you some medicine, take the medicine, and your headache goes away. Well, yeah, you could surely take an aspirin, a Tylenol, an Advil, whatever else they're giving you, and you can make your headache go away, and it might go away temporarily, but the headache's going to come back because that drug or quick fix does nothing to fix the root of the problem. And in my opinion, the root of bad skin primarily is your lifestyle. I know you don't want to hear this. You know, in my opinion, you can't have good skin if you're eating a junk food diet. You are not feeding your body the nutrients you need, and there's a lot of other things that I'll be sharing in this video. You might have already thumbs down the video because you don't want to live healthy. You still believe falsely that you could eat junk food and slather something on your skin or do some of the other things that I do in this video and get the same results I get. Well, the results I get are because all the things that I'm going to share with you guys, and probably even some more that I can't even think of that I'm not including in this video, but all the things that I'm putting in this video I think are definitely related to having healthier skin, that I really work at having good skin, okay? The next thing I will say is that in the past, previous girlfriends, thanks, Lindsay, yes, I like saying names, Lindsay, you know, who was my girlfriend for a while, many years ago, you know, has told me, like, straight up, you know, and I was like kind of immune to these things, even though it did hurt my feelings. She says, sleeping next to you, John, is like sleeping next to a Brillo pad. I mean, that is what she told me because my skin was so dry and rough, right? And it's been like that. I never was able to really overcome that for a long time until I cleansed and detoxed, and then even more so recently until I upped my diet game and started including some different things to put on my skin that really made a dramatic difference. You know, if you ever watch my videos, it's rare that I've ever taken off my shirt in a video because I don't like to show my skin. It's rare that I wear shorts because I don't like to show my skin because of the dry skin condition that I've had, but that I've recently now overcome. So for the first time, or you know, rare occasion, I'm gonna go ahead and take off my shirt for you guys so you guys can see my skin. You know, and my skin is pretty nice. And here's the thing, right? Some of the people that made fun of me when I had maybe not as nice skin as I have now, I mean, I'm sure their skin's a lot worse, but I'm not going to make fun of them because that's not nice. So I encourage you not to make fun of anybody due to a skin condition or being different than you. You know, we need to really be more compassionate in our lives. Just the other day I was told by my ex-girlfriend that my skin is softer than hers, and generally girls' skins are softer than guys' skins because they have a little more subcutaneous fat in them. Plus she's a little bit younger than me. But she's like, John, your skin feels like baby soft, you know, and this is the first time in my life it's been like baby soft, you know, and that's what I want to share with you guys, you know, whether you get a little bit out of this video or a lot, I want to encourage you guys to do as many of these tips as you guys can incorporate into your life easily so you guys can have nice skin like me. And, you know, I'm not special. You know, I do a lot of different practices that will allow me to get the nice skin. So, you know, there's no free lunches in life. Don't just think you could just buy a shower filter because John said that's good and your skin will be magically 100% better. Well, that might improve it a little bit. And all the things I'm going to share with you guys in this video will improve just a little bit. And all these stacked together will give you a much greater improvement. Now, the other thing I will tell you is that I have never had any injections or plastic surgery. I don't know how people could think that I've had injections or plastic surgery. I have not. You have to trust me on that. I mean, if you're my ex-girlfriends or people that I hang out on a regular basis, you would know if I had any of those things, and I completely have never done that. And actually, I do not believe in plastic surgery to, you know, make somebody look prettier or bigger or whatever in different areas of their body. I'm definitely not a fan of going under the knife for cosmetic reasons, unless it is because you were like in some traumatic accident and you're like really need to do that. But if you're already, you know, a normal person and look all right, and then just trying to do that, you know, that's not me, and I'm not into that. And if you guys want to do that, more power to you. But, you know, once again, there are no quick fixes. If you do plastic surgery now, there's pros and cons. You might look better, but then you'll lose, you know, movement in your skin. And that is not, you know, people use plastic surgery as a solution for a bad diet and not living properly so that you have good skin in the first place. It's like an easy way out, you know. So, and it could go bad. Plastic surgeries could go completely horrible, and you could turn out even worse than you were, even potentially even lose your life or have some major crazy infections. So, yeah, that is not me. And I will say that I got microdermabrasion. I've never had a face peel or chemical peel or anything like that. I will say that I got a microdermabrasion maybe like 15 years ago, but it really like didn't do nothing. I was like, this hurt, and I don't think it really did anything. I personally believe that my dietary changes and the practices I do now will do far more than, you know, getting a one-time microdermabrasion, because it's these practices that I literally have been doing now for the last 26 years and even getting better and better and improving on my practices. You guys are lucky enough to know exactly what I'm doing now, so if you guys want to do it as well. So without further ado, let's get into my, you know, I think it's like 10 tips plus maybe a bonus tip or two on how to have nice skin. So my first tip is, it's not about what I am doing, but more importantly, it's about what I am not doing. And most of you guys probably could never even say any of these things that I'm going to say in a minute, because it's actually quite extreme for the standard person to believe what I'm going to tell you, but it's completely true, okay? So, you know, what you eat is likely causing some of the issues you are experiencing, right? And especially in the skin and just definitely your health in general. But what I'm not doing is what most Americans do on a daily basis, right? I do not eat fried foods. Fried foods will age you faster than anything else. I mean, look up a video, Faces of Meth, right? I don't use drugs. If you take methamphetamine or other high-end drugs and do it a lot, it'll really age your face. They're highly oxidative, man. They're oxidizing you. I do not smoke. Smoking will cause excess wrinkles, cross-linking in your face faster than anything else. So if you truly care about your skin, don't eat fried foods, don't smoke, don't do meth or other crazy drugs that will cause lots of oxidation in your skin. Now there's a lot of other things I don't do, so most of you guys might, but I mean, I know a lot of you guys eat French fries. Like, John, I gotta give up my French fries. I'll never tell you guys to give up your French fries, but if you want to have nice skin like me, don't eat French fries. I haven't eaten French fries in like over 26 years now, and I don't plan to eat French fries anytime soon either. You know, there are better or worse ways if you want to heat process your food, and frying is absolutely the worst way. Another thing I don't do is I don't eat foods that have been baked at high temperatures. Baking food at like over, I don't know, 300, 400 degrees causes toxins to be created in the food, reduces antioxidants in the foods, and also causes your body to age more quickly. I am not doing that either, and I have not eaten any of those things for like 26 years either, right? Don't eat fried foods or even baked foods at high temperatures, right? Another thing I don't do is that I don't do processed foods, and this is going to shock some of you guys. What does that mean, John? You don't eat processed foods. That means I don't go to the supermarket and buy, you know, a box of vegan cereal, or I don't go to the supermarket and buy some bread. I don't eat any bread that's like fluffy in a loaf. I don't eat that stuff. Haven't eaten it for 26 years. I have no desire to eat that either because, you know, I've seen the benefits I've gotten, including the nice skin, as well as other health benefits from not eating bread. I don't eat hamburgers. I don't eat at, you know, fast food joints. I don't get, those are fried foods, and I don't eat processed foods that like have like high, I don't eat sugar. I don't eat white sugar. Like, gone. I don't eat white sugar. Haven't eaten white sugar for like 26 years unless it's snuck into some small levels in some ingredients in another food I'm eating. But I don't have any white sugar in my house. I don't advocate you guys eat processed refined sugars, whether that's a white sugar, you know, maple syrup, even things like honey. Those are concentrated sugars, not good. Coconut syrup, coconut sugar, all these things. I avoid those to the best of my ability. you know, and I rarely, if ever, even eat those. You know, the healthiest sweetener to eat is fresh fruits. Dried fruits and fresh fruits are the main ways I get sweetness into my body. And more importantly, when I'm eating sugar in these methods, it comes with fiber. In many cases, it comes with water. It comes with different phytonutrients and phytochemicals that feed and nourish our skin. In addition, things like breads don't have a lot of water content and all the I don't eat things in a can. Canned foods are highly processed. They add a lot of salt. We'll talk about salt in a little bit. You know, I don't eat those things. They're highly processed. I basically, for the last 26 years, prepare my food fresh. Everything I eat, for the majority, 99% plus, I make fresh. I make my own juices, I make my own salads, I make my own soups, I eat fruits and vegetables, I grow my own fruits and vegetables. Most people simply do not live this lifestyle. I will not tell you it is not a lot of work, because it is absolutely a lot of work. Every day I wake up, I'm like, all right, I gotta make a juice today, I gotta do food prep today, I gotta grow more food today, I gotta make a video, and then, you know, by the time it's done, my day's gone and I can't do anything else because I've used all my time to live my lifestyle. But you know, it reflects in, you know, how I look, and you know, my health and the shape I'm in, and you know, how I have no aches and pains and all these things. You know, so it may be a lot of weird for a lot of you guys. Maybe some of you guys won't ever give up your whatever you like that comes in a can. You know, soda. I don't drink soda. You know, and that's up to you guys. But this is what I do. So please realize that it's not about what I do, but also very more importantly what I don't do, which is what most Americans do, unfortunately. Now, the other things I don't do is that I do not eat animal products, right? I do not eat meat. I do not eat dairy. You know, I have experimented with some dairy in the past. It didn't do well for me. You know, I'm part Asian. Asians are lactose intolerant. But I do not eat these foods. In my opinion, you know, especially processed meat products, cured meat products shown to be carcinogenic, and I believe those will definitely age you faster than anything else. You know, if you don't have meat in small quantities, I don't think that's a big issue, but the problem is if you're eating a lot of meat, you're not eating a lot of the other foods that I'll be talking about in just a minute, because you're eating too much meat and not a lot of the other things that are actually going to anti-age you and cause you to have nicer skin. I also don't eat vegan junk foods or vegan processed foods. I don't eat diet cheese. I don't have vegan, you know, pizzas. I don't go out to eat at, you know, vegan restaurants. I mean, there's all like, even though I eat plant-based and eat fruits and vegetables as the dominant source of my calories, I don't eat processed vegan foods either. Once they start processing foods, they take nutrients out of the food and make it so it'll store longer, so maybe it'll taste better. They add excess salt, sugar, and fat so it tastes good, so you keep buying it, so you're hooked. But, you know, like, people that design food for processing, when you buy processed food, they're not making it for your health. They're making it so that it tastes good for you. And when you eat the things that taste good for you, those are the things that aren't good for your health, sugar, fat, and oil, that also will encourage you guys to not have good skin, in my personal opinion. So there are so many things that I literally don't do that most people do. People would think I'm weird. And I fully accept that I'm weird and I'm different, and I'm glad to be that way, because at least I got nice skin. So now I know what you're thinking, John, if you don't eat all those things, how do you survive, man? You're going to wither away. You don't eat anything that I eat. Well, yeah, so I've learned how to do this properly in the best way possible, in my personal opinion. Based on 26 years, so back in 1995, I started my diet to eat a basically raw foods diet, raw vegan diet, if you want to call it that. You know, I like to think of it as basically what I eat is, the majority of my diet is raw fruits and vegetables. Mostly vegetables these days, especially leafy greens as much as I could get in. Other vegetables with some fruits to get enough calories, as well as other nuts and, you know, seeds, some seaweed, some beans and grains and other foods that I've started to incorporate recently that you'll have to watch my videos for more information on that. But that is literally the majority of my diet, right? It is shown in science that there are health benefits in many of the different vegetables and fruits. You know, things like antioxidants that are basically anti-age you, you know, oxidants like age you. So like if you eat meat, you're going to get heme iron that could age you. This is why, you know, your car could rust if you get a scratch on it, you live near the coast, because iron rust, it oxidizes. Well, if you eat heme iron from animals, you're going to rust more on the inside. And once again, I don't eat animals. I eat foods that are the exact opposite of eating animals because they have antioxidants, including hydrogen and all these other properties that are anti-aging for me. So I've basically been living on a fruit and vegetable diet now, minimally processed, so I don't heat them for the last 26 years, for the most part, for the majority of my career, although more recently I've included some heat processed foods in limited quantities that I couldn't otherwise eat raw for their benefits, okay? I'm not really going to get into what I'm exactly eating nowadays, but I will encourage you guys to check out my Instagram at Growing Your Greens. You'll see where I post meals that I make, that I'm eating, the juices that I make. I also have videos on this channel. I'll post a link down below how I eat a vegetable-based raw food diet, right? The other thing very important that I've become aware of more recently is, besides the antioxidants and the trace minerals in the food, which are essential for us and our bodies to do what we need, you know, the fiber in the food also is very important. So despite me juicing a good quantity of fruits and vegetables to get them into me, the juice still contains the soluble fiber that dissolves in water that will feed your microbiome, right? And I strongly believe that having a healthy microbiome is very critical to having healthy skin. And I will not say that my microbiome has been healthy over all these years, but I've definitely been through a learning process of building and growing and becoming better as I, go on and learn more and, live my lifestyle and diet. So what I will tell you guys that are watching this is, my second tip is eat as many fruits and vegetables as you guys possibly can get into. And even then, watch my last video where I talk about how to increase your micronutrients, because this is something not often talked about even on raw food vegan diets, right? It's my goal to increase my micronutrients, and I really feel that has made a significant difference even in just last 3 years to my skin, as I've increased my phytonutrient content even higher than I ever have in my life. My third tip is to stay hydrated. And, it's not enough just to drink water, in my personal opinion. There may be problems with lots of different types of water, including chlorine, chloramine, fluoride, the water not being so clean. So while I do have a few waters I drink in bottles, the majority of the water and hydration I get is actually from fruits and vegetables by either eating them or, more importantly, concentrating their nutrients. Another very important tip we'll talk about in a little bit, but this we're concerned about hydration, is through juicing. So you can see here a number of juices I have. I mean, I could go off and list all these, but the recipes aren't necessarily that important. This one's like cucumber, jicama, pineapple. This is turmeric, ginger, apple, ginseng, rosemary, lemon. This is 100% orange pepper. This is like orange pepper, pineapple, jicama. This is a green juice with romaine lettuce and celery, maybe some kale in there. This is basically a red pepper juice. This one actually is a brown pepper juice. Yes, they have brown peppers. And this is a root juice with purple carrots, orange carrots, yellow carrots, some jicama, apples, and red bell pepper and beets in there, right? So what I want to tell you guys is that you guys need to stay hydrated, right? How can you stay hydrated? Well, number one, the easiest way to stay hydrated is live somewhere where it's humid. I live in an arid climate, probably the worst place to live if you want to have nice skin. If you live in a humid climate, literally, when you go outside, you're absorbing the humidity, if the humidity level is high enough, through your skin, right? In an arid climate, the exact opposite is happening, right? Through your skin, you're actually losing hydration because it's so dry in my climate. So I have to drink more liquids, than I would otherwise. And maybe that's of some benefit too, because when I'm generally drinking liquids, it is in a juice form. And besides just drinking the water, I'm getting a lot of other things along with the water. My most important tip is to drink easy water, or water with a low surface tension. Water with a low surface tension does not happen naturally in nature, although you can buy bottled water that may be lower in surface tension. I'll talk about bottled water in a second, but the best low surface tension water is water from fruits and vegetables. That's why I have a bunch of juices here and in my fridge at any one time, any day of the week. I have at least a dozen juices in my fridge that I could grab, ready to go and drink. I spend significant amounts of time in my life to basically juice fruits and vegetables, Most people may not want to do this, but once again, that's why I have the results I have with my health as well as my skin, in my personal opinion, because I do drink a lot of juices, which basically gives me structured water, which basically hydrates you better, hydrates your cells better. We'll talk about it a little bit, but even I concentrate nutrients, so I have these juices are really rich in vitamin C, very important for collagen formation, that I drink throughout the day. But the easy water basically will hydrate you more than just the standard bottled water, that's spring water out of the ground. This doesn't go in, and isn't used as effectively by the body, from my understanding. And the other thing I will say is my water, I might drink this rarely, the Evian, and I don't encourage you guys to drink water in plastic bottles in general. I would say definitely get a filter for your house, and maybe like a reverse osmosis system to remove all the minerals, or a distiller to distill it as well. But there's another element that I will talk about just very briefly. Is I get this water, it's Cularvia, and it's made in Romania. And this stuff is actually it's low deuterium water. So that's kind of extra credit. I'm not going to really talk about that, but that's an anti-aging water. Another anti-aging water could be a hydrogen water that I did experiment with before this one. These ones you got to kind of buy, because it's not an easy process to make yourself. But on a hydrogen water, you can take a good quality water, and then actually you could get a machine from Korea. I have 2 of them that will basically add more hydrogen into the water, which then makes the water actually an antioxidant to prevent aging. And that's what I'm trying to do, is to prevent aging. Aging shows up when you smoke and you get wrinkles. That's all the oxidative damage. We want to reduce this to the max, and I do this by adding lots of phytonutrients. Now, in addition, when you're drinking water out of a bottle like the Evian, that is, comes up from the high altitude, so it's lower in deuterium than other bottled waters you can buy. It also comes with the minerals in basically a rock form, right? These are not minerals that we could absorb easily. We can absorb a small percentage of them based on what I have learned. But here's the thing: when the plants take the water up from the ground and filter it through their vascular system and through all their little cells, they basically they put a different charge on it, so now that we can absorb the minerals from the fruits and vegetables. And that's why the majority of the water I drink is not from a bottle, it is from my glass jars, and it is from fruits and vegetables, aside from the fruits and vegetables I also eat. Now, the easy way to get water if you're not going to juice fruits and vegetables is simply buy a coconut. You can hear the shake inside there, but the coconut has the coconut water. This is water that is filtered by the coconut palm, puts the right charge on it. There are electrolytes in there, the healthy minerals that we can absorb. In addition, there are plant cytokines in there that are also anti-aging. Yes, I do look this stuff up, right? I've been doing this a long time, and my diet is very tailored to me and my lifestyle. Once again, it is a lot of work to create all these juices, but I believe I get the benefits from them. I would encourage you guys to stay properly hydrated every day, and I'm not going to say some magic number like you need to drink twice your body weight in ounces a day or blah, blah, blah. I don't know, it's true. It depends where you live, your physical activity, your exertion level, all these things. But what I will say is, if you feel thirsty like I do feel right now, you already should have drinking some liquids. So right now for you guys, I'm going to drink my lettuce juice. This is red lettuce out of my garden, and romaine hearts, and a little bit of cucumber and probably celery. Best hydration on the planet, man. Green juice. I drink 1 quart of these a day, and that's another thing. Most people aren't going to do what it takes to, live healthily. It's a lot of work. Unless you have a lot of money, you could go out to juice bars. But then the juice bars, they're not using the best juicing techniques, which is beyond the scope of this video, is to talk about how I process the food to get the most nutrients in there so that I can get the most benefits, in my personal opinion. My third tip is to get the proper types of fats. This is so critical, and most people miss this step, right? Most Americans are eating far too many omega-6 fatty acids and not enough omega-3 fatty acids. From some of the data that I've seen, even me, I try to strive to eat more omega-3s, and even then, I fall short of where I would personally like to be, although I'm a lot better off than where most people are, right? In addition, a lot of people eat the wrong types of fats, fats from animals, high saturated fat percentage, trans fats in processed foods, You know, I don't eat saturated fats from animal foods, and I don't eat any trans fats unless somebody's trying to slip those into me somehow. I don't know how they do that. Those fats are very damaging, you know, especially the trans fats, very damaging to your skin in my personal opinion, okay? That being said, I get my fats from whole food sources, very important. Whole food sources, right? I do not eat extracted oils for, you know, culinary use, right? I don't eat olive oil. But John, olive oil is so healthy for us. Well, I'm not going to argue that that's a different video. But I don't eat olive oil. I don't eat different kinds of canola oil and all these different kinds of oils. I don't use those things in my personal lifestyle or diet, right? I personally believe, based on the data, that you can get a lot more benefit from getting the oil from the food itself. Well, you know, whether you want to have, you know, eat olives, you can get the olive oil that are in the olives to much lesser degree, but more importantly, you're getting the polyphenols, anti-aging, good for your skin, in the olives that you're not going to get when you eat. You're going to get higher levels in the olives than when you eat the olive oil. In addition, my other fat sources are from nuts and seeds. So, you know, here's mixed nuts. I prefer to buy nuts in their shell. Link down below for a video I made on why you should buy nuts in shell. For many reasons. But yeah, walnuts, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, almonds, pecans. I also get macadamia nuts, one of my favorite kind of nuts to use, from Hawaii. I have them in shell, out of the shell when I'm too lazy to shell them. I have pistachios from California. More importantly than just the nuts is the seeds. So no, I got things like the chia seeds. This is on sale recently at Costco for just dirt cheap. I can't even imagine how cheap it was. In addition, the hemp seeds, very important, even more important than these two in my opinion. The flax seeds that I'll talk about in a minute. In addition, some other sources of fat I get are from olives. Olives are a fatty food. That's why they make olive oil out of olives. In addition, I get some of my fats from a coconut. It's a source of saturated fat in a plant-based diet. You definitely don't want to overdo the saturated fat in my personal opinion. Also, of course, not shown is I eat avocados. Also some healthy, beneficial fats. Now, please understand, when I eat fats in this way, in whole foods, I not only get a smaller percentage of the fat, but I also get all the fiber. I also get all the different polyphenols and phytonutrients and different vitamins and minerals that are included in each of these foods. So I'm not just getting extracted fat, and more importantly, I'm eating the right quantity of fat, in my personal opinion. You know, I know there's diets out there, 80-10-10. They say 10% or less of calories from fat is what you should eat. You know, there's other diets that may, you know, processed raw foods diet, gourmet style, could be 60% calories from fat, right? The less calories from fat you're eating, the more other things you're eating, and the more calories from fat you're eating, the less of other things you're eating. So it's very important to have a proper fat consumption so that you get enough nutrients from other things, but also more importantly, you get enough fat. I think some raw food diets that promote like 10% or less fat, maybe not quite enough in my personal opinion, you know, for optimal skin health. I mean, based on my results, you know, I'm a little bit more lax. My fat percentage would like to be anywhere between 10% on a rare day, but normally it's up to 25% maximum on a, you know, on a day that I might maybe overdo it a little bit, and I'm not perfect, so don't think I'm perfect. I'm on my own journey too. But my optimal range is between 15 to 20% fat. I probably skew more towards the 20% fat, right? I eat some fat every single day, not a lot. You know, my goal is to have like a handful or two of nuts and seeds, which is not a lot. Other than that, we can get essential fats from things like greens if you eat enough of them, you know, and it's hard to eat enough of them normally unless you are juicing. So juicing, you could get some pretty good percentage of fats, especially omega-3s from greens, but most people simply do not juice or eat enough greens anyways. That being said, what I will say is I believe that it's important to get enough omega-3s. You know, omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, omega-6s are pro-inflammatory. Both these things are good to have in our bodies, but we don't want the ratio to be too skewed one direction or the other. You know, so that's why I basically use a tablespoon of flax seeds ground up each and every day to help offset some of the other fats that are higher, like the omega-6s in the almonds that are like 2,000 to 1. and the flax seeds are a much better balance. Of course, the chia and the hemp also very balanced, or better balanced than some of the nuts and seeds that can be very skewed high towards omega-6s. I'm not eating any processed oils, and once you start eating processed oils, you could really skew your omega-3 to 6 bad. In addition, on occasion, I do also supplement some algae-based DHA and EPA, which I believe also to be quite important for our skin and other processes in our body. Alright, my fifth tip is to get proper minerals in your life. It is quite sad that if you're even eating or just organic produce or organic foods, you may not be getting all the minerals that you need to have nice skin and have a healthy immune system and a healthy, life, in my personal opinion. This is something really not talked about because I've looked into agriculture and growing my own food. I really see some of the deficiencies in the standard agriculture system. And in addition, we'll talk about some other minerals. So anyways, you want to make sure you get enough of all the different minerals, including sodium, but not too much. That's where a lot of people go wrong, in my opinion. They eat far too much sodium. If you go eating processed foods, they add a lot of salt to those foods. I don't eat any high levels of processed foods because of all the extra salt that could really cause a lot of damage and havoc in your body, including dehydrate you. Literally, right? To cure olives, I've cured olives by literally buying this salt here and putting the olives in the salt and letting them sit there. The salt pulls out the water. If you massage kale with salt, you are pulling out the water out of the kale to make it limp. That's not a good thing, in my personal opinion. I would rather use a dehydrator to make your kale limp, to remove some of the water, but don't add salt at the same time. So you want to make sure you don't eat enough salt. I don't care if it's Himalayan salt. I don't care if it's salt from the bottom of the ocean. I don't care where the salt is from. Any kind of salt, you want to really not eat it. I have a video on why I don't like salt is not a health food. Post a link down below. You want to check that out, right? People eat far too much salt, and that will negatively impact your skin, in my personal opinion. Of course, I am not a doctor. I'm not a dermatologist. So go see a dermatologist if you want real advice. But if you want to take the advice of somebody that actually has nice skin and how I believe I've been doing it, it's all these tips. It's not just one magical potion you put on and all of a sudden you look 10 years younger like some of those infomercials would lead you to believe. I've worked hard at having a healthy immune system, healthy body, living for longevity, and as a result, I also happen to have nice skin, which wasn't necessarily my end goal, because I could really care less how my skin was because I was teased as a child, but I'm glad that it's 100% cleared up now. I'm actually overjoyed about that, especially because I'm single and I'm dating, so it's, people always look at how you look, and it's important, alright? So yeah, nix the salt, dude. We don't want to do the salt, but minerals are essential for our health, for many different processes in our bodies. I do not even begin to understand all the different complex processes. It's like if you have a factory and they're making cars, right? To make a car, you need to get plastic and metal and different kind of alloys and different materials. You get the input materials for the factory. And say the factory is out of, rubber. Then you can make the whole car except for the tires. But then the car doesn't run because it can't roll anywhere because you don't got the rubber to put on the tires. So to me, minerals and other properties in food, such as different phytonutrients, are very critical for different processes in the body to happen. If you don't have proper mineralization, you may not absorb certain nutrients. Your body may not make a lot of collagen, so you may not have plump skin. Lots of different things. So one of my goals is to basically ensure that I have trace mineral adequacy. I do this in many ways by eating a variety of fruits and vegetables. Every different fruit and vegetable will have different levels of minerals in it. In addition, I even grow my own food using 70 to 90 different trace minerals to put into the soil so that my food is more minerally nutritious than any food money could buy, for the most part, except from some other growers that are growing nutrient dense or minerally rich enhanced foods, which is actually really rare, unfortunately. It shouldn't be. In addition, to get my minerals, I do other things. So I eat many kinds of seaweeds. This is just one of them. The nori. I eat nori. I eat seaweeds from Japan, from Iceland, from Estonia, from all over the world that I get different kinds, because once again, every different kind of seaweed will have different levels of minerals in there. I get some from Oregon, that are ground up in a mineral blend, but also it has definitely nutrition in the seaweed, but minerals are critical. So seaweed's one of my favorite ways. This is actually from a raw nori Azumi, and there's no Prop 65 warning on this one. Now, another way I get my minerals also are usually from plants, but this is another product that may be helpful for you guys. I don't know if you guys can see this on the camera, but actually it's called Ion Gut Health. So basically there's fulvic and humic minerals, and basically what this is basically these are plants in the time of dinosaurs that have been composted down under extreme pressure underneath the ground, and basically composted plant materials that then they extract this liquid from. And they've done some research on this. This is gut strengthening, brain boosting, toxin and allergen protection, microbiome and immune support. They don't have any skin claims on there, but definitely, making sure you have trace mineral adequacy. Once again, we don't have too much of certain trace minerals. We don't have too little. We want to have just the right amount. And I believe in a product like this, which is derived from plants, a little bit every day, definitely helps me out. I do it a couple times a week. When I remember, I do eat sea vegetables on a regular basis, usually every night in some small amounts of quantity. I don't sit there and chug sea vegetables by any means. Fruits and vegetables dominate my diet. Then I eat some sea vegetables and drink some concentrated plant minerals on occasion that can feed my microbiome as proven by science, and also, in my opinion, allow me to have better skin. Another thing I want to talk about when we're talking about minerals is that, I encourage you guys to get rid of salt. Don't add any salt to your foods. I do it only on very rare occasion, or if I go to a restaurant that they just happen to put salt in there, I'm not going to say you got to make it salt free, because they probably have a lot of things pre-made. But at home, I do not add any salt to my recipes. Check my other videos, for links on that. If you want to learn how I eat, actually, you can check out my recipe book, which is how I was eating a couple years ago when the recipe book was made. I'm always evolving and changing, so it's not exactly how I'm eating now, but it's very similar. And you can learn more and buy the ebook at GYG Book. All right, my sixth tip for having nice skin is to, pay attention and ensure you're getting enough phytonutrients and vitamins in your diet. We talked about minerals previously, but in addition to that, what is very important are the vitamins and phytonutrients, in my personal opinion, right? Vitamin C is essential for collagen formation. I don't take vitamin C tablets. Those are isolated and they may be problematic. So what do I do instead? All these peppers, these red peppers, will be juiced later today, right? I have even more of these. I have another bowl full this big, right? These peppers will get juiced in a juice. I drink my juice. The juice is concentrating the nutrients in the peppers, right? Peppers, besides vitamin C, has other different vitamins and minerals, and also plant phytochemicals and polyphenols and antioxidants, which I will remind you guys are anti-aging, right? And I don't just eat red peppers. My goal is to eat as a wide variety of different produce items as I possibly can to get the benefits out of them. Another thing I really like a lot are purple foods. This is one example. I showed you purple olives earlier. In addition, like brown tomatoes and brown peppers will have some anthocyanin content. Red cabbage, which I could have brought out that I didn't, has anthocyanins and red pigments. I eat betalains from the beets. Every different plant food has more or less nutrients. I don't eat that many bananas, but I would eat more blueberries. So these are wild blueberries from Trader Joe's. These are the most anthocyanin-rich fruit that I'm aware of that you can easily buy near you. If you don't have a Trader Joe's near you where they're the cheapest, you want to go to like a health food store. You want to make sure you get the wild blueberries though. And don't get the standard blueberries. Big difference. These ones are off the charts in anthocyanins, where the standard ones have some anthocyanins, but not as much as the wild. Very important. In addition, there are other compounds in foods, and I could sit here all day highlighting different foods I eat for this reason, but what I will say is some of the most important, in my opinion, are things like the ginger, right? Ginger is essential, highly anti-inflammatory food, right? Inflammation can cause lots of issues and cause you to age prematurely. This is an anti-inflammatory food. In my opinion, this is probably one of the best things you could do for your skin. I drink a ginger, turmeric, ginseng, rosemary, lemon shot every day, right? Another thing, of course, maybe even better than the ginger for your skin is the turmeric, right? I love the turmeric, organic turmeric from Florida. I buy it in bulk amounts. Get it for $9 a pound. Still looking for a better supplier. I want to get the Hawaiian red turmeric that's higher in curcumin. But anyways, the plant foods contain different compounds that are beneficial for us. I encourage you guys to do the turmeric ginger. I'll put a link down below if I remember to the turmeric ginger shots that I make, full strength. Drink it every day. You could go to the store and buy this little pre-made thing that's mostly water or orange juice. I drink basically straight up turmeric ginger juice like every day, like straight up. And actually it doesn't taste bad if you get the recipe right, which I've now pretty much mastered. So that's pretty cool. So you want to eat these high antioxidant foods. Try to strive out and get as many purple foods as you possibly could get into your diet. I have other videos on anthocyanins. Put a link down below to my gardening channel if I remember, where I really go into depth about some of the research on the anthocyanins if you're interested. Once again, you know, there are many moving components to me having nice skin. It's not just this or that. It's all these things, and I don't know which one of it does it, but I'm glad that they all work and the results are amazing. Now, the other thing that I recently learned, and you know, I eat foods because it's like, number one, I've always been trying to get more different kinds of nutrients into me. It's kind of like I want to give my body a buffet, right? If you have a friend that comes in from out of town and like you're trying to figure out what to feed them and you don't exactly know because it's a friend from high school you haven't hung out with for 20 years, but you want to make sure that they're going to have good food to eat. If you go to a pizza place, if they don't like pizza or salads, you know, they're not going to find anything good. So you want to take them to that buffet, that smorgasbord that has pizza in one place, that has a salad, you could get a ribeye, you could get a whatever else at that place, and the buffet has all these different things so that the person will get their needs met, right? This is what I strive to do to my body. I try to eat all different kinds of foods, you know, and some are, you know, I have reasons to eat them and some I don't, so that I will be nourished. You know, my body will get nutrients that it might not otherwise get. So I really try to seek out foods that are uncommon. And on many of these foods, actually, I have specific videos on. So I have a video on this food. So I have a video on this food already. Post a link down below if I remember. And it is simply natto. This is actually made in California, although you could buy it frozen from Japan. You could also get it freeze-dried from Japan, which I also buy. And then natto recently, you know, I saw there's some studies on natto and skin, and having nicer skin is associated with eating the natto. You know, probably because of some of the nutrients in there. It is 100% from, well, mine's from organic soy, but also it's made with a fermentation process. So there's also vitamin K2, which can be deficient in a vegan diet, although some people say we can make it from K1. But I'm just going to take the K2. In addition, there's nattokinase, which is a powerful enzyme that I believe is definitely a good thing to have in our life too. And you know, this is something that not a lot of people promote. Once again, you know, I try to eat a little bit of quantity of a lot of these different kinds of foods over the course of my week or even month, you know, so that I get nutrients that other people into vegan or even raw vegan diets are simply not getting, in my personal opinion, because I go out of my way to research these things and believe them to be very important and even critical. Alright, well, I'm still talking about phytonutrients and different kinds of compounds, as well as I do eat a lot of seaweeds, right? I want to get the seaweed that actually is a pissed off seaweed, or algae specifically. And actually, you know, I learned about it many years ago. Here's a book on it. It's Natural Astaxanthin, the world's best kept health secret. And this book says, find out why famous doctors are starting to recommend natural astaxanthin for multiple health benefits and why famous actresses are taking it for their skin, right? There are studies that show that astaxanthin are beneficial for your skin. This is something I take on a daily basis. I'm experimenting with another product, but this is maybe the second product I've been taking. I was taking one from Hawaii. They have a vegan version. Normally they're in gel caps, so they're not vegan. They're basically extracted from algae. So it's like usually a little liquid. I do not recommend astaxanthin from other sources than algae. There's other sources out there that may not be as pure or as good. And then I started taking one in a liquid format that I'm getting that I might have a video on in the future. But the current product I'm taking now is because it's an all-in-one product, has astaxanthin plus other beneficial nutrients in there. I'm not going to get into the other nutrients in this episode, but this is what it is right here. This is basically called the Essential Formulas Dr. Hero's Propolis Plus Brazilian Green Propolis plus probiotic extract plus astaxanthin. So this is how I get my astaxanthin, right? Some beauty care products have topical astaxanthin. I think that's kind of wasting it, because basically what I'm going to tell you guys is that, you know, our bodies absorb carotenoids and astaxanthin and puts it into our cells and our skin, right? It is said that if you eat a lot of colorful produce, you know, you'll be more attracted to the opposite sex because these are the same colors that'll get into your skin. And maybe that's why another reason why I have nice skin is because I really focus on getting lots of different colors, especially the purple pigments, red pigments, and orange pigments into my life, green pigments, on an everyday, daily basis. So astaxanthin is another thing you may want to look into. That stuff could get quite expensive, so I'd probably encourage you guys to do some of the other things first, like, probably a lot easier to eat more wild blueberries and buy some astaxanthin supplement that is actually quite pricey, unless, of course, you got the money to spend. I definitely think it will be worth it for you. My 7th tip is I want you guys to focus around anti-inflammatory foods. This is something that I have been doing and have an anti-inflammatory diet, whatever that means to you. Some people say you got to avoid these foods that have anti-inflammatory diet. You guys can experiment on your own, but I'll tell you what I believe to be an anti-inflammatory diet, right? There's a few components, and basically all the foods are similar to the previous tip number 6, where I talk about the phytonutrients and vitamins in the foods, because it's these very phytonutrients that give us some of the anti-inflammatory benefits, okay? So the first thing I'll say is that, if something inflames you, it's going to be inflammatory, right? I will say that people have different food allergies. If you're allergic to something, it's causing a reaction to you, that's probably not something good for you to eat. Everybody has different allergies to certain foods or not. You can do all this kind of allergy testing that I don't know if it's true or not to find out what you may better or worse agree with, but then it's like, is it really us, or is it our really microbiome that is reacting negatively to some of these foods because we don't have the right gut bugs to digest the food? So I think building your microbiome also very important, that I'm not really going to talk about in this episode. So I will say avoid the foods that you're allergic to or inflame you or cause some kind of negative reaction, because that clearly is not a good thing. The other thing I do is that I eat high omega-3 foods to make sure my omega-3 to 6 balance is where I need it to be and where I would like it to be. Most people pay no attention to their omega-3 to 6 balance, and in my opinion, based on the data I've seen, is most people are skewed far too far and eating too many omega-6s, not omega-3s. That's why I include flax seeds every day. And aside from the omega-3 to 6 balance, there are other lignans and other properties in the flax, especially if you're a woman, that may get you a little bit more regular, if you know what I mean, for your periods. And also they have studies corresponding that just a small amount of flaxseed lignans may decrease breast cancer risk. So that's kind of cool. In addition, other plant foods are highly anti-inflammatory. The purple foods, I talked about them earlier, right? Anthocyanins, also, according to studies, anti-inflammatory. Also, of course, things like the ginger that I eat every single day in the juice, as well as the turmeric, also very anti-inflammatory. There's probably tons more, leafy greens, tea, all different kinds of high nutrient foods can be anti-inflammatory. That being said, I don't want you to focus on only one and not eat at the expense of the others. I like to eat a little bit of a lot of these foods on a regular basis, so that I'm always flooding my body with these anti-inflammatory foods, and of course avoiding foods that can cause the inflammation. In my opinion, things like processed foods could cause inflammation. Foods with high omega-6, excess fat and processed sugars cause inflammation, in my personal opinion, right? Things like animal products, right, in my opinion, cause inflammation, so I do not want to eat those, and I don't eat those. All right, for my 8th tip, I had to come out to my garden because it's probably the best place to show you guys about this tip. The 8th tip is I want you guys to eat vibrant foods. Very important, Jay Cordes, the juice man, that taught me about juicing and improving my health through juicing and building my immune system, having more energy. Basically said this: dead food, dead bodies; live food, live bodies. He told me that in his program that he said, cooked foods ages you faster than anything else. Don't put cooked foods in your body. Now I know that to be somewhat true, but also somewhat false in this day and age. But at that point, I didn't really want to believe him when he told me that the first time, although later I understood what he was trying to say, is that basically we want to eat foods that have life force and vibrancy. Whether you want to call it prana or chi, biophotons, right? Foods that are still alive have an energy force within them, right? And in my personal opinion, when we eat these foods that have high vibrancy, like my little baby gem lettuces here, or my large size lettuces, or even look at that. This is nice, fabulous, open head, red salad bowl lettuce, right? These foods will give us life. If you don't have a garden, you could grow your own sprouts. You could grow your own microgreens inside your house. You could have a garden. Before I eat foods from my garden, I just come outside and pick it. It doesn't get picked and then put in the refrigerator, then shipped to far off lands across the country, which is how most of you guys are getting your produce. Right now, if you guys are buying apples, you know, please know that they were harvested last year if they were grown in the U.S., put in cold storage in an oxygen-deprived environment, and they're 6 months old, so they're not going to juice as well as they were when they are fresh, and they're losing their vibrancy. More importantly, they're losing their life force. They're losing also different kinds of vitamins and polyphenol nutrients that will oxidize over time. So that's why it's so critical to maximize your nutrition is to eat foods rich in life force. It's this frequency or this energy, if you guys want to talk about that kind of stuff, which I'm not really going to get into besides this. But basically, I want you guys to eat more live foods that are still living. You know, so if you can't grow your own stuff, sprouts and microgreens really easy. Go to your farmer's market and buy things that the farmer harvested that day, and avoid farmers that, you know, harvested things a week ago. They suck. You could tell them John Kohler told them. Yeah, so none of my food gets harvested until I'm going to use it, unless all this stuff is bolting. Then I got to harvest it to put in the fridge, because otherwise I'm going to lose it. And actually all my stuff is bolting like now, so I really need to get out in my garden and harvest food and process it before it goes bad right after this video. My 9th tip for having good skin is to get proper sun. It's very important. Please understand, you want to get proper sun, right? I think people that sunbathe, that are out in the sun for hours, exposing their whole body to sun, that's not that healthy in my personal opinion, right? We want to get proper amounts of sun, not too much, right? Not too little either. You know, I think it can be detrimental to some people to like never get any sun. I mean, the sun is natural. It's good for us. We need sun to make vitamin D, you know, that's known, and then probably some other cofactors by getting sun as well, by getting exposure to the sun, and also to kill bacteria on our skin, which is a whole nother different discussion of skin microbiome. You know, I have used skin microbiome products. Actually, I'll talk about one of those in a little bit. But as you guys can see, I'm wearing a huge hat. Yeah, I mean, I might look like a Chinaman. I mean, I'm half Chinese. You know, with this large brim hat. But, you know, my personal opinion is that my goal is to get sun protection from, number one, the inside out. You know, it is known that some people of certain ethnicities of darker skin pigments, you know, are more sun resistant, right? That's why I grow a lot of deep colored purple vegetables, because they're more sun tolerant because of those anthocyanins in the plants, right? That being said, if you eat a lot of these anthocyanins, like I talked about a bit earlier, and other plant pigments, right, carotenoids and lycopenes and all these things, right, they get literally in our skin. They'll make you look a bit darker. You know, if you drink enough carrot juice, some people might even turn a bit orange, but that's a good thing, because that is literally, you're getting the protection that the plant would have into you, into your skin. Most people are deficient in these nutrients, so much so that a company out of Utah that is in multi-level marketing, they'll basically take around a little machine, and you can put your skin up to it, and they'll give you a test to see how many phytonutrients, you know, or carotenoids are literally in your skin. And if you're low, they're going to say, oh, take our supplements so you could raise up your numbers. If I go in there, and one of my friends have gone in there and done that test, we're literally off the charts higher than those people that are taking their products, the supplements that they're selling, to try to get you to take them. So I'm like, well, why don't I just eat a healthy diet to have high numbers, so I have to buy your products to get those high numbers artificially by getting real foods. So number one, you know, things like the astaxanthin, things like the carotenoids and the different juices I drink that you guys saw earlier, these could help us have internal sun protection so that we are more tolerant of the sun. That being said, I think sun can also age you prematurely if you get too much of it. So, you know, as much as I have some built-in sun protection, my second level of sun protection is through clothing or hats in this case. You know, if I'm getting too much sun on my arms or my legs, I'm going to put on full pants. I'm going to put on a full long sleeve shirt, even in the middle of summer if it's really hot. If I'm feeling I'm getting too much sun and my body has had enough, we need to also learn to listen to our bodies. Most times in the summer, I wear a nice wide brim hat. I mean, this is it right here. I mean, look, it could cover the whole camera. I mean, it covers me. I mean, this is a huge hat. This is my preferred method to get sun protection. I'm not a fan of using things like sunblocks and sunscreens. I find them quite unnatural, and especially many of them are quite toxic to our bodies. In addition, they can destroy the reefs, although I think the plastic in the oceans are destroying the plant, the animals in the seas more than just like some kind of sunscreen. If you do want to get a sunscreen, I would recommend checking out ewg.org, and I think it's the Skin Deep. There are some baby sunscreens that are using mostly like minerals like zinc to do reflective on the light, which can be good. In addition, things like oil can give you like a few SPF as well that you put on topically that would be more natural. Maybe make your own with oils with some kind of zinc oxide or other kind of minerals that reflect it. If you're really concerned, but my number one thing is cover up, guys and girls, and maybe even get a big hat. You might look funny, but it's going to protect your face from the sun. So I want to get enough sun on my face, but not too much, because that could cause premature aging. I have seen this with some other people that just get tons of sun, but then I've seen the opposite direction where I've had an ex-girlfriend who really always covered up. She definitely had some nice skin, but then unfortunately she lost her life in a head-on collision. So you also got to be careful in life as well. But I want you guys to get enough sun, not too much, not too little. And I'm not here to tell you guys how much sun you guys should get. You guys need to each determine that for yourselves. All right, my 10th tip is just simply titled practices. So it is what you do on a daily basis to take care of your skin, aside from just eating well, like I've shared with you guys to this point. There's also things I do to take care of my skin, just a little bit. I mean, I'm a guy, I'm not sitting there like, doing all these crazy things every day for hours and hours. I pay very little attention to my skin, and I'm glad that my diet, allows me to have really good skin while doing very little. But I do a few things that are important to me. For my personal skin type, I do have a dry skin type overall. I do not have an oily skin type, so if you guys have an oily skin type, I don't know if this is going to work for you. You guys could try some of these things or not, but this is what I do, and it definitely works for me in my opinion. But once again, the other thing is don't do it too much. So some of these things I do daily, and some things I do almost daily, and some of these things I might do, a couple times a week. If I remember, sometimes I'll do them for a week straight, and then I'll slack off and I won't do them for a little bit. So there's no rhyme or reason. It's like if I think I need to do that, then I'll do it or not. And some of these things I'll do every day. So the first thing I do is I make an oil sugar scrub to basically exfoliate my body when I'm in the shower. My full body, as much as I could reach. With my hands, I can't reach the middle of my back, unfortunately. But everywhere else, I exfoliate with this mixture that I'm making. And you're like, John, you don't need olive oil, do you? I'm like, no, I don't. But actually, I rub it all over my body. And if you're my girlfriend, and I'm single, I might rub it over yours if you wanted me to also. But anyways, I buy, high quality organic olive oil and other oils. And I mix the oil 1-to-1 with the sugar. Now, that's the basic recipe. I use this turbinado sugar. It's raw sugar, raw cane sugar. Don't eat this, but I will rub it all over my body. So it's a 1-to-1, these two guys, and then sometimes I'll also add some of these ingredients, which are completely optional. I started with this, and then I had some of this laying around. This is like some clay, so I add a little bit of clay in there, kind of gets a bit better exfoliation. And then I also added, one time when I got a good deal on this stuff, this is glutathione. Most people might take this internally. I would never take this internally. But I will put it in my sugar salt scrub and rub it on, so I have some external benefit. In addition, I have used other things like thonka powder and also the bukashi seed powder, which is some antioxidants and some other good things that are known for, maybe having healthy skin. And basically, those go into like this jug here, which is basically like a big jug from like coconut oil that I got years ago. And basically, I mix it in there, so that's basically my sugar oil scrub. That when I'm in the shower, I basically open it up, put it a scoop full, and just rub it in to my face, into my arms, into my whole body, into everywhere. And then I wash it down the sink and make sure you use some really hot water because sometimes of the year I'll use coconut oil, which will basically get hard when it's cold out. I normally only use coconut oil in the summertime. Otherwise, I use an olive oil, but I like to use coconut. And I also use things like castor oil or almond oil. It kind of depends. I'll use like, I don't know, different kinds of oils, organic, all cold pressed, not hexane extracted, to exfoliate. I believe this is probably the best method for me that has worked the best for me and my personal skin type. Now, I might do this several times a week, sometimes every day for a little bit, but usually several times a week, I'd say, on average. Now, the thing I do almost every day, and if I make a video, I do this, and this makes a big difference. Actually, I use these things called Wonder Puffs. So some of you ladies might have this because maybe you use this to remove your makeup. It says deep cleansing puffs, and it's deep cleansing puffs, exfoliating puffs, right? Luckily near me they have them at the dollar store, although I got a better line when I ordered them online. And it's these guys. They kind of look like a little sponge, and one side is like more softer, and then one side's more kind of like more tough. So you know, I basically just wet this down under hot water, and I just basically brush my skin down with it. If I have a little bit more exfoliation to do, I'll use the tough side, and if I'm being wimpish, then I'll use the smooth side. I only use these on my face itself because that's the most important where I want to look good, and especially due to my dry skin type, this really helps to exfoliate some of the dryness off. You know, and then I'll talk about some of the products I apply after this. You know, so I do this pretty much every day or before I make a video, unless I'm running late or don't have one of these with me. I won't. But this definitely makes a big difference to kind of rough out, take out some of the blemishes in my face due to the, you know, basically dry skin that I would have otherwise, right? Once again, I don't know if this is going to work for you, and most of you guys might not want to use a tough side because it kind of hurts sometimes. I use this a bunch until it gets too floppy because it'll lose the texture and the shape. And then I'll use these to like clean my bathtub before they get chucked as their final use, okay? I do that almost on a daily basis. Some days I don't do it if I'm like not going out in public, but otherwise I usually do it on a daily basis. Now there's other practices I do to take care of my skin. You know, one of those include red light therapy. So this is just a small red light bulb. It doesn't look red, but if I plug this in, you'll see it's like red. It has two different nanometers of light. You could buy these like on Amazon or other websites. I do red light therapy on my face and my whole front side of my body, down my waist, every day, minimum for a half hour. Sometimes I'll do 1 hour red light therapy. Now there can be many benefits to red light therapy. I think this is only something I started maybe within the last year or so. I believe it makes a difference, but I don't really know. But the other thing is it kind of works into my relaxation, you know, whatever, peace management that I'll be talking about next. Now, another practice I do on a daily basis when I'm doing the red light therapy that I just shared with you guys, and I have a large red light, not just like, you know, a small dinky one. You know, it covers a good portion of my body. I have a machine that actually will increase my blood circulation, so it speeds up my blood circulation so that I heal more quickly, right? I'll have a future video on this, but I'm not going to make a video or talk about the product right now. I have mentioned it in past videos, but this machine is actually quite expensive. It's a medical grade machine normally used in doctor's offices for people that maybe go under plastic surgery so that they could recover and heal faster from their plastic surgery. I'm not trying to recover from plastic surgery. I've never had that, nor do I ever plan on getting it. But this basically speeds up your blood supply, so your blood is circulating a little bit quicker in your body, thereby delivering more oxygen more quickly and delivering nutrients to different parts of your body more quickly, so that you can heal more effectively in a setting such as a doctor's office or otherwise. People use it for pain relief because once your body is working more efficiently, it heals better, it heals faster. Also, you know, there's some people that ordered a bunch of these machines, and they're not cheap, several $1,000s, that were in New Mexico, and they like run I don't know, beauty salon or something like that, and they would use the machine. They learned if they use the machine for a half hour a day, they would get a reduction in wrinkles in their face because of the improved blood supply to their face, which is completely amazing. So maybe in the future I'll make a video about that, but that's only for like people that have excess money because it is actually quite expensive. But to me, I'm not doing it just for my skin. I'm doing it for the increased healing and for the increased health benefit I will get from it. And anyways, let's go ahead and talk about my next tip, which is actually relaxation and living in peace. So my 11th tip, and we can maybe call this a bonus tip. I have bonus tip number 1 and bonus tip number 2. These are also ways I use, but bonus tip number 1 is very important, is to live a peaceful life. I'm going to put the operand word there on peaceful life. Some people would say a stress-free life. I don't even like to say the word stress because that causes stress. So I would say live a peaceful life. Whether that means you need to om and meditate every day to kind of bring you down. Whether that means to go to anger management classes for some of you guys that get always stressed out all the time and yelling at your husband, wife, or partner. I mean, that's just not healthy, man. That's not a good place to live. You know, here's the thing. Stress raises your cortisol levels, right? High cortisol levels means you're probably not going to have good skin. And I mean, that's a whole different area that probably nobody ever talks about when dealing with having nice skin, is to really be in a relaxed state, right? Be in that state, you know, the parasympathetic state where actually your body is healing. This is very important, you know, relieving living in a peaceful state. Also, I can include in this, getting proper sleep. Very important. If you're getting 2 hours sleep, that's not enough sleep. Your body can't repair and regenerate to have nice skin, to be in good health, to have longevity either. I also get proper sleep every night. In addition, you want to remove other stressors in your life. One of the stories I love from my friend Paul Nissan, who's been into raw foods about as long as I have, is that, when he got into raw foods, he got rid of his girlfriend, and that took an incredible amount of stress out of his life. So whether you have a partner that is stressing you out, or a job that you don't like, or whatever, living situation, you need to get yourself out of those situations to reduce the amount of stress in your life, to live in a more peaceful state. Well, that means you want to ohm underneath the tree and wait for the tree to drop an apple and land in your hand and eat it, and you'll be blissed out. Whether you got to do tarot cards or oracle cards or whatever it takes to make you happy and to live more in peace. I love to go out in my garden time, and listen to music and zoning out, maybe listen to audiobooks sometimes. It's just a peaceful time for me, and I just feel most happy. I mean, that's another thing. You want to feel happy more than sad, because the more sad you are and the more you frown, right, the more it puts wrinkles in your face. The more you're happy, less wrinkles. I mean, of course, we could get into different products that I don't use, like, those little rollers that have little needles and pins and all these things. Although I do facial exercises, which I could have talked about in the practices every day, because I'm chewing like my dinner for 2 hours, which is also very important to use our mouth. As much as I drink juices, I also chew a lot of food to get our mouths moving, our jaws moving, because we have muscles in here, and we got to use our facial muscles. And if they get weak because you're eating all this processed food, you're not going to get good movement in your face. And I mean, they have a stupid facial muscle exercise you could put in your mouth and chew up and down on. It's like you chew on a plastic ball. But why do that when you chew real food that you need to chew? Because that's what we're designed to do. I mean, there are other stressors in your life besides boyfriends and girlfriends, your job, whatever it is. It could be things like, external radio frequencies or EMFs, or even your cell phone could cause excess stress. There are some studies that may indicate that the blue light coming from your phone that can, put stress on you, or the heat being radiated, or the EMFs that come out of your cell phone may not be good for you. I mean, it is a stress, because it is something coming out of the phone right at our head if you're holding your phone up to your head. I really don't use a cell phone, so people get mad like, why don't you ever answer my text? Because I never check my cell phone, because I don't really use it. But anyways, however you guys need to deal with your stress and minimize that so that you can have nicer skin and also live in a healthier place for your immune system as well as your health overall, I would encourage you guys to do it. So whatever that means to you, seek it out and live more peaceful. Another component I want to add in regarding stress and living a peaceful life is, aside from sleep, is the exercise component. Exercise is critical to our lives, to get our lymph moving, to get our blood supply moving, and to get physical exercise. So we want to be moving our bodies every day, whether that's facial exercises, from chewing, or whether you're getting workout and exercising. It's very important we have a good component of physical exercise every single day. Once again, too much exercise could be stressful for your body. So you're trying to run long distances and just go because you're supposed to. More is better. More could not be better, and more could actually be worse for you. So you want to get the proper amount of exercise. And I'm not here to tell you guys about how much exercise to get, because I, for one, could probably use a little bit more exercise than I'm getting, although I get, quite a fair amount. All right, my final tip, or my second bonus tip, or number 12, if you want to think of it that way, are the products. And this is where most people go first off. Like, these are the products you need to buy to have good skin. For me, this is the last thing you guys need to do to have good skin. You need to do all the other things that I talked about before this to have good skin, in my personal opinion, before you get these things. Once again, all these compound on each other, and once again, these products that I use work for me and my personal skin type. Not going to say they work for you, although some of these will work for everybody. Some of these other things might not work for you depending on your personal skin type, all right? So what I will tell you is that I don't use a lot of products. I don't like to buy a lot of products. I don't like to buy a lot of things. I think a lot of things are too processed and have chemicals in there that are not good for us. That being said, there are some things that I find that are really helpful for me. One of the most helpful products that I've used for many years now is actually jojoba oil. This is just one brand. You can get it for inexpensive at Trader Joe's if it's not organic there. This is the organic one. I don't know that I necessarily recommend this brand. I like the dispenser a lot, and I basically just refill it with different brands I get for a good price. but this is jojoba oil. So basically, after I do that buffing with the water on the Wonder Puffs, I basically squirt some of this into my hand, and I basically rub it all over my face. You know, this really allows my face to have a nice, better texture and really smooth texture. So I use the jojoba only on my face. Sometimes I use it on my arms as well, and then I will use it in my hair. So if you're like, John, why is your hair always oily? Because it kind of keeps my hair down. You know, oil in my hair, it's kind of like a hair gel, because I don't use any kind of gel or mousse or any kind of hairspray. It keeps the hair down, so it makes it a little bit more manageable, okay? So that I like the most out of all these products, and has been using probably the most out of all these products, except maybe the next one that I think could benefit of everybody, right? I think everybody can benefit from a shower filter. If you guys are drinking bottled water, but yet you shower in unfiltered water, right? There is chlorine and chloramine in the water that will dry out your skin, and also there's the chlorine and chloramine is designed to kill bacteria in the water, so you don't get food, you know, waterborne outbreaks. In addition, that may negatively impact your microbiome on your skin. So the number one thing you guys need to get is a shower filter. This is a cheapo one that I don't necessarily recommend. You're gonna have to do your own research on that. I have a whole house water filter, and then I have a shower filter on my shower as well. And I have to research that. Hopefully soon there'll be some ones that actually put hydrogen infused water into your shower, which is you know, kind of next level, because I kind of keep up to date with all these things when I go to different trade shows like the Naturopathic Doctor Show. I learned about the hydrogen water shower filter, which the company's not responding to me anymore, so I don't know what's up with that. So that's number one. Everybody should get a shower filter. This one, a little bit more iffy, can get expensive, but basically what this is called the Lona. And this is basically a micro water shower head. So in Japan, and there's some data that would suggest that the micro water, basically they add a lot of micro air bubbles to the water as it's spraying down on you. You know, these micro air bubbles are better at cleansing and you know, cleaning out your pores and all these kind of things. I don't know if it's true or not. I kind of easily fall for gimmicks, especially when it's a one-time purchase like this that you really don't have to replace, whereas on the shower filter you got to replace the filters, and on something like the jojoba oil, when you use it, you got to buy more. So I kind of like, you know, these kinds of things. Maybe they give me a 0.2% increase in my skin niceness, or maybe it does nothing. Maybe I think it does something and then it's doing something. I don't know, but I'm sharing it with you guys because it's like I do all these crazy things like that. Now the next thing, this is something I've also been using for a long time, and I stand by this solidly. It's made by the same company that makes the propolis. This is actually called the Dr. Ohhira's Probiotic Kampuku Beauty Bar. And it says, promotes and maintains radiant looking skin, essential formulas, a product of Japan. So this is literally the soap I use. Now this is designed for just your face. These soaps ain't cheap. I mean, you could go buy some soap at the dollar store. This is not dollar store soap. If I saw them at the dollar store, I'd buy them all. Highly unlikely. You know, these bars, over $10 a bar for one bar. And, you know, to have nice skin, I just don't use this on my face. I just use this on my whole body, plus I'm a guy. So, you know, I use this all over my body when I'm cleaning off. I don't always use soap every day, every time that I'm taking a shower, because also the soap could strip away natural oils on our body, which could be a good thing. But when I get excessively dirty out in the garden or whatever, you know, I will, or I think, you know, some people coughed on me, I'll use my soap all over. In addition, you know, I'm a guy, so I don't like have shampoo and all this kind of stuff. I just use this soap for my shampoo to clean my hair as well. I think my hair is doing all right, although I use a conditioner sometimes. But yeah, this beauty bar, you know, I think it does definitely has played a role in my beauty. It adds beneficial probiotics, and we have probiotics living on our skin. Very important. There's other products I have used in the past that can encourage probiotic, healthy probiotics on your skin, which I think is also very important. Although that's, you know, I don't really use any of them now at this point. Okay. Now my evening routine before I go to bed. So this is like, I know some people put stuff on their face before they go to bed. For the longest time I haven't, but more recently, within the last 6 months, I started putting this on my face, and this is basically a noni lotion. I visited the farm in Kauai. Post a link down below to that video if I remember. Actually, there's a discount code in the video, so if you guys want to get this. But basically, this is basically dehydrated noni that they then add in with water to rehydrate it, and then it basically makes a lotion. So literally I'm just smothering fruit, noni fruit, all over my face in a concentrated format. There's many different kinds of nutrients in the noni lotion that I believe to be beneficial, although I don't know that this is done anything major. I just like to do it every night because I think it's doing something, and whether it's doing something or not, I did, when I visited Hawaii, I saw at the farmer's market a guy that was selling the noni lotion stuff. He said, man, for like 10 years I put the noni lotion, since I sell it here at the market every day, on one arm, and this arm I don't. And you could notably see on his two arms, one arm he had sunspots because he lived in Hawaii. The other arm, it was drastically like the sunspots were basically reduced or, almost gone. I wouldn't say gone, or almost gone. I forget exactly because I didn't take the picture. But, I was like, wow, that stuff really works. But it's not just like a one-time application. He did it days and days and days and days because he'd been working for the company for a while. So I'm like, oh, what the heck, man, I'm going to use this on my face. It's also good for things like, inflammation, and it's antibacterial, antifungal, soothing. I just kind of like this to put on my main areas of my face. I think it's added some anti-inflammatory aspects and some nutrients to provide nutrients for my face from the outside in. That's where most people do it. Most of my nutrients honestly come from the inside out. I also do eat noni fruit on occasion, and I wish I could actually eat it more. But this company also sells the noni fruit you could eat, actually. So those are all the main things. Now the new thing that I just started using that really was the game changer for me. This is literally the linchpin. You guys know the linchpin. Like if you have a trailer you got to haul, you got to have a linchpin that holds in your trailer hitch. If you don't have the linchpin, the whole trailer can't get pulled, right? So for the longest time, although my diet has been really well, and although I got rid of my eczema, my ichthyosis has still been something that has been difficult to get rid of, especially living in a dry, arid climate. For example, if I go to Hawaii for 2 weeks, my ichthyosis would basically disappear because it's a humid climate. But if I'm in the desert and it's arid, I would have some issues with the ichthyosis, especially during the winter time when I tend to use a little bit more heater. Than air conditioning, but the air conditioning also can be very dehydrating. I also use a swamp cooler, in the summertime to basically keep the air more moist than normal. So I found this product and I've been experimenting with it, and actually it's available at Costco. Now I will say that this is not the most natural product. So if you want to say, Joe, you're not natural anymore, you can say whatever you want with me. I'm going to tell you guys that I get good results with this, and it's worked for me and my skin condition. I'm not going to say it's going to work for you and what you're going through. In addition, I did look this up on EWG, that's Environmental Working Group, Skin Deep. They have a database where they basically rank the majority of the different skincare products. If it's like least toxic, which is a 0, to the most toxic with all these ingredients that could cause cancer, all these things, which is a 10. And I'm glad to say when I looked this stuff up, it was actually a 2. So it's very low. Are there things in here that I would rather not put on my skin? Absolutely. When I figure out the exact ingredient or item in here that's causing the beneficial effect for me, I will try to buy it on its own and use that. But at present time, I'm using this product pretty much most nights before I go to bed, all over my body, except my face. I don't really use this on my face. The active ingredient might be the 12% lactic acid, but it basically boosts the skin's natural renewal process through gentle exfoliation. It also provides a coating on my skin so I can retain more moisture than I may otherwise because of my dry skin condition. And so this has literally been a game changer for me. It's the green bottle Amlactin Daily 12% lactic acid. This has really made the hugest difference in my life for me personally. Once again, I'm going to try to figure out the active ingredient in there and then try to just use that alone without all the other stuff, but then it might not work the same. So at present time, I'm happy to use this product, and that's pretty much what it is, And I think this is the thing that was lacking, especially in the dry climate here. Maybe if I move to the tropics one day and I don't have the arid climate, I might not even have to use this anymore. But my diet was good enough to get me to a certain point, and then just doing a little bit of skincare took me over the edge. It took me to the next level. Once again, this has never been used. I don't use this on my face. It's all the other products, but this is used on my body. And once again, has really made a difference for me. So that's just kind of what I'm at. This video is a long video. Most of you guys have probably not sat through this to get to the end. But hopefully you guys, after watch this whole video, you'll understand that, to have beautiful skin, it's more than just putting a couple creams on. Actually, my goal is to actually not use any creams or any things. But, here's the thing, right? We are all given, a set of genes from our parents, right? And I solidly believe in epigenetics. And what epigenetics says is that your genes load the gun but that your lifestyle pulls the trigger. So if you maybe have some bad genes and eat, foods that are not so good, right? You might have bad skin. But if you have bad genes and eat really good, you could have good skin, right? But the problem is most people's environment, whether it's their stress or whether it's their diet, causes things to go awry. Whether it's your skin, which is your skin is a sign of your overall health, in my personal opinion. I get regular blood tests. I'm going to get one in the next couple of weeks here to ensure that all my nutrients are in line. I'm doing really good. And if not, I'm going to adjust and modify. And life is a learning experience. I've been on this journey eating healthfully for a long time now. And hopefully in this video you guys have learned a little bit on how to adjust your genes, even if you didn't get the best ones from the get-go because you've had dry skin your whole life. Hopefully this video shares with you a little bit about what you may be able to do. Of course, I also did a lot of detox and still continue to detox on a regular basis. That's why I drink half of my food that I eat in a day in terms of juice, because that's actually going to help you cleanse out. I'll also have done water fast and other kind of detox programs in the past. I'll put a link down below to the video how I eat in a day so you could learn how I'm eating right now. And I also put up all the different foods in a chronometer so you can see the nutrient breakdown and how literally I'm getting all my nutrient needs on that meter or nutrition thing met. And I want to remind you guys that there's a lot more nutrients that are not being accounted for than are on standard nutrition meters, such as all the different valuable polyphenols and plant phytonutrients that I like to get on a regular basis. This video has taken me a long time to make, but I feel that if it helps one person to improve their skin so that they could lead a normal life and not get teased as a child. I mean, that really hurt my feelings a lot, but I really couldn't. I was feeling powerless to do anything about it when I was a child because I just left it up to the doctors to give me the creams that never worked, to use the Eucerin and salt, to use the cortisone creams that actually jacked up my hands. So the one part of me that I really am not liking the most, is my hands, because they're prematurely aged because of all the cortisone. I encourage you guys, I would never do cortisone on my skin again. I would do more of the natural method and figure out how to basically change your terrain so that your skin can be fully expressed and be as healthy as it should be, living in an unnatural world that we live in with all the toxins around. I mean, the other thing I don't do is I don't pump gas because I have electric cars, right? I spilled gas in my hands, and those are highly toxic, breathing in gas fumes. I mean, there's so many different things that I could get into, and it's not just one thing or another thing. It's a lot of these things that I do that have given me the results I get, and there are no quick fixes in life. I would encourage all you guys to adopt more of a plant-centric diet that is high in nutrients. If you guys want to learn more about how to do that and have never done it before, I have videos on how I do it specifically, which is different than how anybody else does it. But if you want a book, I would recommend Eat for Life by Dr. Joel Fuhrman. That's a good start to ensure you're going to be on a high nutrient plant-based diet, and even including a little bit of meat if you still want to include some meat. But you're going to basically get rid of all the processed foods so that you have the best ability to have the best immune system, to literally get rid of heart disease and diabetes, like Dr. Fuhrman will talk about in his books, even have a stronger immune system, which I think is definitely correlated to our skin condition as well. So that's pretty much it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. More importantly, please be sure to share this video with somebody else that have had dry skin conditions that you feel this video could help. Maybe they'll watch it all the way through, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll pick up one or two tips that may help them change their life and get better skin so they don't get teased as a child or by their girlfriends telling them they feel like a Brillo pad because your skin's so dry and rough, right? That will never again happen to me. So I'm glad to say that, and I'm glad to get complimented so much on my skin when so much of my life actually I've been teased about my skin. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new upcoming episode. I've coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll share what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel that literally you're not going to hear from anybody else on the entire planet, because I think a bit different. Also, be sure to click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 600 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to teach you guys about how to eat the healthiest fruit and vegetable dominated diet on the planet, in my personal opinion. So with that, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best.